Diminishing Returns, the podcast about sequels, prequels, spin-offs, and reboots. I'm Chris Scott, and across from me, he's the jive turkey that I give thanks for every day. Gobble, gobble. It's Mr. Alan Johnson. How you doing, Alan?
How do, pod people?
Beautiful. Yes, we are back with one of our non-franchise episodes, our in-betweeny episodes, our bonus episodes, whatever the hell you want to call it. This is where instead of taking on a particular film franchise, we just talk about general sequel culture and films and whatever we like. So, Alan, you have scoured the internet to find news about sequels and stuff, most of which I probably won't have heard, so you will now get my unvarnished reaction.
Well, it's a sort of bumper Instagram episode. We've had a series of set photos from various projects.
Right.
The most interesting, from our point of view, I guess, is our favourite guy, Walton Goggins.
Hey!
Released a set photo from his final day on the Ant-Man and Wasp.
Oh, he's going to be in Ant-Man and Wasp.
Yeah,
That's right, I
it was
forgot
quite-
about that. I'd be looking forward to that anyway.
Yes, I thoroughly enjoyed Ant-Man because it was mostly a heist movie as opposed to
and sort of a heist comedy almost.
quite funny, and so I quite enjoyed that Ant-Man.
Brilliant. And also it means when it comes out we can probably make more jokes about Michael Douglas's cancer from eating pussy. Michael Douglas used to be a guy you thought of as an actor. Now I think he's got fucking cunnilingus cancer.
Aquaman himself, Jason Momoa, has teased an image from the Crow reboot, which he was reassuring fans they are still working on. I guess it's like a kind of early sort of mock-up poster art.
Aye,
Crow
right, so
makeup
he's
face.
signed on, he's definitely signed
He
on.
is signed on. He seems to be in.
Jason Museum of Modern Art is quite good.
An interesting...
Oh, he's quite beefy for a crow.
That's what I was just about to say.
He's
It's
a
quite
beefy
an
crow.
interesting way to go from Brandon Lee playing that sort of like willowy goth thing.
Yeah,
So-
you can't have a buff goth. There's a boy that goes around Partick. I see this boy there in the coffee shop the first time, and he's just like having his coffee, full goth makeup, like the white face
brilliant.
and the fucking trench coat. That is not a cool look, right? But I respect the shit out of that wee guy. He is just like, I fucking wearing goth shit. I don't give a fuck that it's 8:30 in the morning. I don't know why he's in Partick though. It doesn't make sense. I need to get on this. I need to find more information about this
Yeah.
little goth. You know, listen, if you know of the goth kid in Partick, or if you are the goth kid, email us at diminishingpod@gmail.com and you have my respect. And also,
Are you excited about the Crow reboot?
that's what I was going to say. Like, is he going to be happy with a goth who has a leg day?
And finally, from the Instagram roundup, there was a cast photo released from The Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them Part 2. 50% of the people that care about that image flipped out over Jude Law as the young Dumbledore. That everyone else flipped out that Johnny Depp is still there because of his terrible recent
Music.
personal
Oh,
problems.
okay, I see where you're going. I thought you were talking about, you know.
No. It's really sort of suffered a bit of a kind of public backlash because of the situation with him and Amber Heard. So, and sort of reading up on Johnny and all the stuff that's gone on recently for him, I noticed in amongst that the last Pirates of the Caribbean film, which I thought when we reviewed the trailer was coming out as Dead Man's Chest, was actually released in some territories as Salazar's Revenge.
Oh,
And
yeah, it
it's
was.
currently sitting as the 8th highest box office of the year.
Wait, what? Really?
That film came and went for me in the blink
I
of
thought
an
it was
eye.
I thought it was a fashion. It was a flop.
Took in almost $800 million. Number 8, crazy.
It does show you that if you make money for people, shit will be forgiven. Again, I think we'll get on to this later
Yes.
on. But B, also, it's a lot easier to be like a creepy, dirty cunt if you're really good looking. If he was a character actor that looked like me and you, he ain't getting fucking films, brother.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you know, that's the way of the world, my friend. I've had female friends sort of try and defend certain actors recently
Okay.
for some of the stuff that we're not really going to talk about.
No, yeah.
And quite a lot of female friends of mine have been kind of making a little bit of excuses. And I
Okay.
was like, I guess you have some sort of investment in this person as a fan. You can't separate the art from the artist in the sense of going, well, I enjoyed those films, but now he's a beast or whatever. I can still allow myself to have enjoyed them in the past. I might not go
Yeah.
see his new stuff. That's the way I kind of think about it.
Not to gloss over, but you have no love of the Harry Potter franchise.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't even say no love. It's just passed me by.
It's
I
just-
was too old for the books. And just to be clear, adults listening to this, yes, you can be too old for the books. But I could just hear people being raging about that. You know, I was too old for the books, and I don't have kids myself, not that I'm aware of, knock on wood. I know that this, was it Fantastic Beasts is the prequels?
Yes,
But, like Jude Law's Dumbledore. Okay. I mean, I've heard both of those names.
You're more familiar with one than the other, is what we're saying here.
Yeah.
I recently saw Fantastic Beasts and it was okay. Yeah, that's about all I'll say. There's aspects of the world building in Harry Potter that I would like to see tackled. I don't really need to see...
Tackled? I love the fact that you used the word tackle. Like 1960s film about civil rights. It's the Harry Potter. They really need to tackle these fucking muggles. Did I get that right? Muggles?
Yes.
Yes! In your face, people! Sweet. Right, hold on. Let me try to take you through what I know about Harry Potter, right? Okay, I've seen 1.5 films.
Yes, getting an 8-film sum up from your knowledge from pop culture and the 1.5 films you've seen.
Got you, right. So muggles are cunts that can't do magic.
Yes.
Harry Potter grew up thinking he was a muggle.
Not even aware of the magic world, so
right,
didn't even be aware
and then so a letter comes in and he goes to the fucking train station thing that people are always making cutesy jokes about on Facebook. Fuck off. And then he goes and there's a hat. There's a hat. Isn't there? And the hat tells you which house you're in. The houses are called Slytherin. Slytherin the bad one?
They're the bad guys.
So straight away, why have they got a bad house? Like, we're going to put you in evil house. Wait, it's a school for kids. Don't have a fucking evil house. So the Slytherin, the Animal House, and House and House 2, the horror films from the 80s. I don't... what's the other one's called? No, you know what? Fuck it. I don't care.
Gryffindor, Ravenclaw, Hufflepuff.
Hufflepuff and Gryffindor, I think I've heard. Ravenclaw, I'm not sure. I must have, maybe. I don't know. So he goes there, and there's a ginger and a blonde lassie.
Yep.
And they all become pals. And then Robbie Coltrane is like, oh, Harry, you're a magic dude. Then there's a bald guy who's evil.
Yep.
And did he kill his mum and dad?
Yep.
Because he's adopted?
Raised by his aunt and uncle.
Oh, he's raised by his aunt and uncle. Okay. Owen and Brew, right? So they're like, oh, there's a bald guy and he's a bad guy. And he's called...
Ironically, at this point, most people call him He Who Shall Not Be Named.
But I'll come to me, man. I'm sure I know that, right?
Okay.
And so they play a game, Quidditch, which is on broomsticks and seems to have rules I don't understand. And then there's now people like play that as a real game.
Yep.
They should kill themselves. Now, here's my understanding of it. One of the old wizards dies and gets replaced in the films. David Tennant's in one. Is he a prisoner of Azkaban? Also, that wee Scottish lassie's in one, isn't she? Is that the same one? Does she play a kid in it? Myrtle? Is that the one I've seen?
Moaning Myrtle is in the second film.
That's the one I've seen.
Chamber of Secrets.
Oh, okay, Chamber of Secrets. But that's played by like a grown woman, right?
Yes,
And it's meant to be a schoolgirl?
Yes.
That's fucked up. They get older because that's how time works. And Harry gets it on with this young Asian lassie.
Yep, Cho Chang.
The bad wizard. God, I definitely know his name. That's going to really piss me off. Harry kills him, and then something happens with the ginger dude. Does the ginger dude end up with the blonde lassie?
Yep.
And they live happily ever after? What does Harry do? So he just kills a guy, and then he's got a bird, so he's fine.
But it's not Cho Chang. Harry ends up married to Ginger's sister, Ginny Weasley.
Okay, and the bad wizard is called Voldemort.
Yeah,
Voldemort. There we go. Right. So I described that in what, 3 minutes? It's like 20 hours of fucking films for. Fuck up.
That's a strange diversion to take during the news, but all gold. Well, so from one gargantuan franchise to another, that is now no longer happening. With the departure of the creative duo of Alex Kurtzman and Chris Morgan, Universal have put the future Dark Universe project on hold.
I saw like a tweet about this, and I went, oh, thank fuck.
The poor reception in box office from The Mummy, starring Tom Cruise, which we talked about a few episodes back.
Yeah, we've got a whole episode about it, guys. Get it downloaded.
Even though that film took $400 million at box office, that's not what Universal were expecting from it. They really thought it was going to do much better, especially with Tom Cruise.
I mean, that sounds about half of like Pirates of the Caribbean, Salazar's chest.
Dead Salazar man's chest.
Dead Salazar man.
The projects that are already sort of in development are not entirely scrapped, but Universal are certainly reviewing the shared universe aspect of it, so it looks now like they're going to be coming out as independent features, and they're not going down that cinematic universe path, which I think is a wise move.
I mean, it was shitty ideas, terribly executed. Well done, Universal. It's taken you, 3 fucking films to realise nobody wants this, nobody cares.
And I've said it before and I'll say it again. We've already had the best shared universe film in the Monster Squad.
Yeah, boy.
Speaking of underperforming blockbusters, the disappointment of Blade Runner doesn't seem to have deterred Legendary Entertainment from hiring Denis Villeneuve to helm the remake of Frank Herbert's Dune.
Cool. He's a good choice. His eye, his visual eye, his eye, the way that he was good with effects and spectacle and Blade Runner 2049, I think that's quite exciting news, actually.
And I do think that Blade Runner in time, it might not make up the money it's lost, but I think in time it's trying to
you think that a Blade Runner film might do disappointing in the box office, but yet over time become a cult?
Yes, I think exactly.
Who'd have fucking thought of that, guys,
Villeneuve has said that he's going to distance himself from the previous big screen take, obviously by David Lynch.
Question.
Yes.
I'd hate to come over all fucking Destiny's Child. Question. Tell me what you think about have you seen Dune, David Lynch's Dune recently?
Within the last 10 years, yes.
It's a good probably 10 years later than last time I saw it.
Okay.
I loved it as a wee guy because it was mad and weird and had cool stuff. Is it still quite alright?
I like it, and I like it from that point of view of it is bonkers.
Yeah.
And it is really fringy sci-fi.
Yeah.
In short, yes.
Cool. Alright, good. I'm going to try and rewatch it.
And finally, some sad news. George Miller has sued Warner Brothers, which is putting the Mad Max Fury Road sequel in jeopardy. And it's over Miller's claim that Warner Brothers did not pay him $7 million, which he was meant to get from bringing Fury Road in under budget. Here's where it gets weird. He didn't bring Fury Road in under budget.
Right.
But the aspects of the film that went over budget were apparently the responsibilities of Warner Brothers themselves. And so he's claiming that they should pay him the money because the overruns and over budget are Warner Brothers' faults themselves.
How much did they overrun by?
What is $7 million to Warner Brothers off the profits of this giant movie?
Well, I don't know, but I would be interested because, I mean, far be it from me to throw shade on Hollywood's accounting practices, which, as we all know, for years have been reliable and are no way dodgy as shit. But I would be interested to know if it went over budget by $50,000, which has somehow saved them $7 million.
Yeah,
you know, that I think that would be an intriguing thing. Most people that listen to this are, of course, film nerds and will know about.
And
you never.
yeah.
The famous thing is, of course, if you're an actor, you never take net points.
Yeah.
You always take gross points because officially no film ever has made a net profit.
No, I think Eddie Murphy called them monkey points. Is that what he called them?
Right, okay.
He had an issue with studio not paying out at the point that he was a giant star.
Warner Brothers, I don't give a fuck if it is his fault. Pay him $7 million, and a part of that go, all right, but you've got to sign to do fucking part 2.
Yeah.
And here's another fucking $7 million. Come on. Part 2 is the wrong way to put it as well. The next Mad Max film is what I mean. That was the news.
That's the news.
For once, that actually wasn't too bad. That wasn't.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, what we've done here is not talk about the beasts. There's been a recent film adjacent beast.
Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them.
Yeah.
Apparently it's in Hollywood.
Exactly. So that's the news. That's fit to print. Thank you, Alan. A pleasure as always. So what have we got next, Monfrere?
Should we do the Thanksgiving at this point?
It's Thanksgiving, an American tradition.
Yeah, while I don't support the exploitation of the first Americans, there are people that have helped us out here in the podcast, and it's long overdue that we say thanks to those people.
I genuinely don't even know who you're going to say.
Well, first of all, and most importantly, I'd like to say thanks to Kenny McLeod, who has helped us not only with equipment, but also showed me how to work various bits that make us at least sound like an approximation of what a podcast should sound like. I really owe a lot to Kenny for his help.
Kenny McLeod of the Clan McLeod. We thank you. Thanks, mate.
Of course, Dave Turbot, who designed our logo.
That's right, Dave Turbot.
Eternally grateful to you, Dave.
Great logo from Dave. You can visit his page on Facebook, Dave Turbot Design, I believe it is.
Yeah.
He is a graphic designer by trade, freelance. He has worked for some of the biggest properties in science fiction and fantasy and comic books. The fact that we got him to do our logo is amazing. So, well worth, if you have any graphic design needs and you want something really good, Dave Turbot Design on Facebook.
Black Cat Horror Memes, who is a
is that a person that does the drawings?
Yep, we've had fan art, which, that tickles me no end.
Thank you, Black Cat Horror Memes of the Black Cat Clan McLeod. What? Thank you, Black Cat Horror Memes.
So yeah, follow them on Instagram.
Are they also on Twitter as well, I believe?
Yeah, on Twitter too. Yeah, we also have the Deuce podcast, who played our trailer during one of their episodes. episodes. You know, a really nice thing to do. Give us a big shout out on one of their episodes.
Thank you, the Deuce. DEUCE, I assume.
Yes.
The Deuce podcast.
Another sequel podcast. They only look at the second film in any franchise, which is why it's called The Deuce.
God, that's really good. I like that, guys.
It's good, yeah. It's a nice bit of business.
Nice, lovely bit of business.
Yeah.
The Deuce, well played.
And finally, thank you to the guys at Spotlight Podcast and for their continued support.
Can I just say, instead of maybe thank you, more like live long and prosper? Am I right, guys? Come on.
Those guys have been keeping us in the loop with some big news that's breaking, and certainly for them,
A cure for cancer.
big news in the film world.
Oh, okay, we're back in. We're back in.
Recently, they had an episode where they had an interview with the producer of Wrath of Khan.
Holy shit.
One of the greatest sequels of all time.
As we should mention, this is a Star Trek podcast.
Of course, a Star Trek podcast, but reviewing Star Trek properties from the perspective of non-Trekkies. So, Wrath of Khan producer Robert Sallin let slip during the interview with Spotlight that there was a fifth lethal weapon in the works, which then broke as a bit of a story on the internet that now there was a fifth lethal weapon on the way.
Our pals at Spotlight are breaking news.
Yeah.
Holy shit. Well done, Spotlight.
So they have a big interview coming up in connection with that, which we can't say too much about at the moment. More news to follow on that when it's official.
I'm a few episodes behind. I did listen to the Wrath of Khan episode.
Yes.
But not their episode yet with the producer.
There's some real treats in
Excellent.
yeah.
Right.
And the final one is just if you have left a review for us, thank you. It really does. It means the world to us.
You're all official good cunts. Everyone that we've thanked there, you are official good cunts. And if you've listened to this show enough, you know that when I say you're a good cunt, that is the best compliment I can give everyone. All those people that have helped us out in the show have been brilliant. Thank you so much. And everyone that listens, comments, retweets, and engages with the show, diamonds. Thank you all so much. So, time for trailer talk.
Time for trailer talk.
Bum, bum, bum. Dear listener, you know, sometimes we've got trailers falling off a table. We got so many trailers, so much to talk about. So we're not going to fit in all one episode. We'll have to save some trailers for next episode. This is not one of those episodes. This is some slim pickings.
Yeah.
Shall we start with a teaser trailer?
Yes, why not?
For The Incredibles 2. It involves an adorable baby with superpowers.
Yeah.
Ka-ching! That's the sound of money just get flung at Pixar there. I mean, it's a cute, adorable, animated baby with superpowers. That's going to be the hit of all hits. They could literally have that and the other people in the film be Kevin Spacey, Johnny Depp, produced by fucking Harvey Weinstein, with fucking Louis C.K. doing punch-up. And the fact it's got an adorable baby in it, it would probably still make crazy amounts of dough. However, I'm not immune to that. It looks great.
Yeah, I think that The Incredibles is one of the greatest superhero films ever. This little teaser, it's sort of one gag played out. Classic Pixar timing. It's Mr. Incredible and Jack, and he's doing the dad stuff of, oh, aren't you a cute baby? And then boom, there's just some eye beams, a sneeze of lightning, and some fire. But it's just so perfectly timed.
Yeah.
They just hold it long enough so that you're like, oh, this is cute, and then bang, big laugh. It looks great. I'm really excited by it. I like the logo when it's the letter I.
I was going to say, yeah. And then he does a little laser beam thing and it makes it into a 2. Really cool.
Great.
What I want to bring up, right? So Incredibles is Brad Bird, right?
Yes.
As is Ratatouille?
Yes.
And Tomorrowland?
Yes.
Right. There is a theme, and I wouldn't have been the first person to notice this. I know that, right? I'm just a poor boy from the streets with a pocket full of dreams. But there is a slightly worrying tone in his films. And the tone, it's not even the actual message itself. So what I'm going to say is, Brad Bird's films all seem to be about, like, special people are fucking special, and you should let special people just be whatever the fuck they want and do what they want, because they're special. And you're not special, you shouldn't bring down the fucking special people.
Oh.
Tell me I'm wrong.
Interesting, yeah.
Right? I mean, those 3 films, The Incredibles.
That's all that film is about. Like, don't repress your specialness. Like,
right. Again, not necessarily a bad message. I'm actually okay with that. There's also that couch of, like, because you're better. Ratatouille, same thing. The very idea of this critic is like, I create things I shouldn't be criticised. Again, I'm aware we do a podcast. It's easier to criticise than create. And in my life, I have created things that have not been popular. Let me be very clear. Then Tomorrowland is very much that. That is incredibly like, no, you're special and you get to break rules. There's a real worrying part for me that it seems to be that I feel that it's, instead of being, no, you shouldn't repress what's special about you and you shouldn't repress what's individual about you, people shouldn't bring you down for that. It seems to his films worryingly straddle and sometimes go over into, if I'm special and I'm one of the chosen ones, you don't get to even question what the fuck I do. Does Brad Bird have a thing like, no, because I'm talented.
Yeah,
I'm talented. And listen, you fucking work in a garage or you're a waitress and you fucking work in an office. Fine. fun, but you'd never get to tell me what to do. And I'm slightly worried that I've ruined Brad Bird films for myself and maybe other people now. I worry it's slightly Randian, Iron Randian.
Yes.
However,
Atlas
cute
Shrugged.
baby, cute fucking baby. I'm in. I'm 100% in. If the whole film was about who, like, there's loads of graffiti about who is the cute baby, and then they go to an island and they discover some sort of new train system or whatever the fuck it is in that Ayn Rand book, then I'm worried. So Pixar's The Fountainhead, I'm in for.
I'm in. Hey, where we go next?
Let's talk about Black Panther.
Yes.
It's another Marvel film.
Yep.
I don't know about you, but I thought it looked cool as fuck.
Yeah, it looks great. This film is overtly pushing the black in Black Panther. Let's not forget the sort of first major Marvel film that came out was Blade.
Yeah.
But it was more like a kind of blaxploitation thing.
Yeah.
And it was very much trading on Snipes as an action star.
So speaking of black superheroes, I mean, like Luke Cage, it had its pacing problems
Yes.
and some story problems. But what I loved about it, they very much were implicit about this was a black guy's story.
Absolutely, yeah.
And there was some great stuff about how, like, one of the hoods in there was disgracing the memory of, like, a black civil rights leader and stuff like that. And it just, again, really smartly written. And I would like to think that they would put a bit of that, hopefully, into the Black Panther film.
Yes.
I worry that because it'll be like, we need to keep this machine moving, that it might be very surface, because obviously it doesn't have as much time as a Netflix show. But fingers crossed.
Chadwick Boseman has explained that obviously his choice to really give like a heavy accent to Black Panther was because this was such of like an insular world, and it would reflect the fact that they have existed sort of out with the world that we know. It looks like it's dealing with imperialism, and that the secret land of Wakanda has developed independently of the rest of the world because of the valuable element that they have, the ore.
Vibranium.
So
Wakanda, where Black Panther comes from, is this sort of like secret place where they're so technologically advanced, but it's been rumoured for hundreds of years, and loads of course, like colonial people have been looking for it, but they thought it was El Dorado and they were going to South America and stuff like that, instead of course Africa. And so that is a really interesting thing. I'll be honest, it's a Marvel film. I don't know how much of that will really make it into the text. I think it will just be a surface kind of, because Marvel films are just, you know, let's get you out, let's get entertained. For a start, yes, the Black and Black Panther, it's an almost all black cast, really, you know, for certainly the main characters, which I think is great. And I think it's weird because the fact is that it is so rare. It's weird that it's weird. And weird as it goes the wrong way to put it, but I just mean like, oh, this is not standard Hollywood casting. Again, I'm going to say something that I've come to really recently think about, is this idea that representation matters. And actually something that I think, you know, I've discussed it before, I was quite neutral on it, because obviously I'm a white guy, it's not affected me.
Yes.
But I think hearing people talk about it, getting to take a daughter to see Star Wars, and there's a strong female role, to say that, well, you know, Get Out made over 100 million at the box office, black guy directed and wrote that. It's something that I never thought about, because it never affected me, because people like me are represented all the time. Every fat funny best friend in a sitcom is like a rich man's version of me, let's be honest, right? Also, what I like about it is just that whole idea in general, is that is where somebody's went, no, see, it matters to me because of this, and that's made me go, you're fucking 100% right. That's how dialogue should work. I know it's easy to get frustrated about things, and as a guy who has white male privilege, I do have it. Wish I had white male rich guy privilege. That would be awesome. But I do have white male privilege. For me, just somebody going, no, this matters because of this, and then I get to go, fuck, you've let me into your life by telling me that. I think that's a wonderful thing. Just imagine there's loads of like black kids that love superheroes, and they can go out, you know, I want to play Black Panther. That's fucking cool.
I guess in the same way that when we had Wonder Woman this year, everyone sort of was like, oh, I can't believe it's taken this long to get to a female-led superhero movie, and now to have this so overtly black-led movie, why have we not gotten here sooner?
And the fact is, it looked big budget. I mean, the effects look great in that trailer. There's also it looks like there's a heist going on with cool masks. Let's add that to a list of things that I will always enjoy. Cool masks heist. We're in. It's been passed as a quorum.
This also has something that I normally hate, where they take like the recognisable song and they mess with it. So but the sample of Gil Scott-Heron's The Revolution Will Not Be Televised, to have that through this trailer, which is, you know, framed in what we've just been talking about the issues of race, to have Gil Scott-Heron telling me the revolution is just going to happen, and it's that really struck a chord, and I thought, yes, I am in for this.
The soundtrack was banging, and I was like, as well, like the comic book fan of me loves the idea it's this secret place, and it's got this future tech. What I love about it, there's stuff now that we will accept as cinema goers that maybe 2 years ago people people would have been like, yeah, well, it's a secret fucking futuristic society that's now, you know, Marvel has very sort of cleverly just moved things on. Oh, and now in this film there's going to be a bit of cosmic stuff, and then 2 films later when cosmic stuff drops in, you're like, yeah, I guess we're into cosmic shit now. It's great. My only slight problem with Black Panther is after Civil War, which I loved and he was great in, and I'm watching Civil War, I'm loving Civil War, and a friend of mine who's not a big comic guy went, ooh, his powers are kitty cat claws. And I was like, yeah, kinda, but other than that he's cool, right? It's like, but yeah, it looks great. I'm really into it. I think we're both in. I mean, let's be honest, Marvel would have to really screw the pooch on this one.
I think the only problem Marvel have potentially on the horizon, because this is like a well-oiled machine for them just pumping these films out now, I think the only problem they really have is just oversaturation.
So I think we should maybe just talk about 2 films.
Shifting gears slightly.
Yeah. I'm going to guess that one of the cast members of this film isn't going to be as excited about Black Panther as we are. So Daddy's Home 2.
Yeah. Oh boy. Where to begin with Daddy's Home 2?
So this is the sequel to Daddy's Home, obviously, which was Will Ferrell and Mark Wahlberg.
Yeah. Now, I'm not a fan by any real means of Mark Wahlberg.
Okay.
He's had a couple of great performances. My issues with Mark Wahlberg stem from his personality as opposed to his performances.
Which is why I think Daddy's Home 2 has great casting. I'm not saying that now. Okay. Let me just be very clear. I'm not saying great morally, but if you were to cast somebody as Mark Wahlberg's dad, Mark Wahlberg, a man who I believe racially assaulted somebody.
Yeah, assaulted a Vietnamese man.
But I believe there was a racial undertone to it. I believe.
Yes, used a lot of racial
invective
slurs.
Okay. So think about it, right? Purely if we take the moral part aside, who would be the perfect casting for his dad?
Let's get some crazy anti-Semitic lunatic like Mel Gibson.
Oh, I thought you were going to say Mel C, and I was like, what the hell? Like, what has she been getting on it? So Mel Gibson plays his dad. I mean, it is great casting. It's horrible that he is cast.
Yes.
But, it actually makes sense in the film, and actually so does the other bit of casting, which is John Lithgow as Will Ferrell's dad. Great bit of casting there. But, yes, so there are real moral problems, obviously.
It really feels like they're trying to backdoor Mel Gibson just back into...
Which he wouldn't like, I don't think.
I don't think so.
I mean, he's very much a macho.
But yeah, so Mel Gibson's got a pretty indelible blotches on his record that I personally feel until he has confronted publicly, they should not be erased. This is what I find sickening about this movie, is that it feels like they've sort of brought Mel in roguishly playing against that like negative image he has, and suddenly now he's in some family fare, and isn't it great that Mel's back?
Yes.
Unearned redemption, which I have a real issue with the sort of moral aspects of this.
Absolutely. So, counterpoint to that, devil's advocate.
Yeah.
And I kind of broadly agree with you, to be honest. If he came out and apologised and said he'd like been to therapy, would you then be okay with that?
I would certainly feel better about sort of Hollywood's acceptance of him as a leading man again.
Because I think we have to allow for the capacity for people to change.
Absolutely. I am all about second chances. Everyone should be allowed to make a mistake.
I do think that Mel Gibson has some real deep issues that, if you read about his background, dad's a mad religious nut job, and he's I don't know if he still is, but he was like a mad drinker. I think there's a lot of stuff there that I don't want to make excuses for him, because stuff he says is awful, but who amongst us hasn't been angry and said some shit just to be a prick? And now he has a wide range of that. Not to armchair psychologist, I think there's a kind of self-hatred, you know, like Danny Glover and Whoopi Goldberg both sort of came out, I believe, in support of him.
Well, Jodie Foster famously stood by him at the time of those allegations, and obviously,
and there is that thing from where you go, well, these people that know him, and I think they're probably because they know that he's maybe a damaged person, and it doesn't excuse me that I'm not. I tell you, and I mean, some of the things he said are fucking awful. I also don't want to go the other way where it's like somebody makes a bad mistake and they're completely sin-dyed for life, but there needs to be a capacity for redemption for people, or else what we will do is we'll lose people forever, and they'll just go completely crazy and go to like the fucking crazy right-wing fucking nut jobs, because they'll accept them as they are. But I think there's a tendency for people like me who are social liberals to be so down on people that transgress that I worry that there's no chance of us getting them back. But then it's obviously a balance, because there are some things that you shouldn't be allowed back for. Is that one? I think it's a really murky moral thing. Also, the film looks shite.
The film looks fucking terrible. My issue with Gibson and Gibson's redemption is he has, in some fairly high profile interviews, spun the tale now that he is a victim. Take ownership of your actions. Like I said, I'm excited about a Lethal Weapon 5, or the potential of a Lethal Weapon 5. At the moment, my feelings towards Mel Gibson are fairly negative.
I've been at the cinema quite a lot this week.
Okay.
I've seen the trailer for this
popped
like
up a
4
lot,
fucking
right.
times or something, you know. I'm sick to death of this fucking film, and I've only seen 2 minutes of it. Our problem is it's not funny. They look like, yeah, that could be really funny. It's like, oh, a guy who's really in touch with his feelings but could learn to toughen up. And then there's a guy who is totally like, I'm going to be the alpha male and actually should learn to soften up. You can make lots of jokes there. Just the jokes in the trailer should make me go, I want to see that. And the jokes in the trailer made me go, fuck that shit. This is almost as bad as Mel Gibson's racism. I said almost. Just for humour, guys. Come on. The jokes don't look funny. It looks pretty hackneyed. Also, didn't we have this film? It was called Meet the Fockers. We saw Meet the Parents, we saw Meet the Fockers, and they basically just looks like they made the same fucking film.
Yeah, I guess we'll just like segue right in here. It's another of these unasked for sequels. It doesn't seem like it was earned in any way. And I really enjoyed Will Ferrell and Mark Wahlberg and the other guys. That is a funny film. And so we have Daddy's Home 2, and then it's coming out in the same period as Bad Moms Christmas.
Bad Moms 2, Bad Moms Christmas. You know what I love is when they put the word bad in front of things. You know, because like teachers are good. We're gonna call a film about a teacher where like, you know, they're playing against the expectation of the good hard-working teacher. Well, we could come up with our own original title. Well, that'd be a good idea. Or remember Bad Santa? Oh yeah, that was really funny because they just like boldly put the premise in the thing. Yeah, let's just rip that off. Great. And now other people are doing it with fucking Bad Moms 2. Oh, let's just rip off the rip off of the rip off that was a decent fucking idea in the first place, because the joke was we're just basically telling you the premise of the fucking film. And now it's like, because you know how mums are great, but these are bad mums. How bad are they, Alan? Oh my god. You know what they do? Sometimes they have a drink. Oh my god. You know what else they do? Sometimes they say the word pussy. Fuck off, you fucking arseholes.
But this movie's coming out right up against Daddy's Home 2, and what's happening in Bad Moms is that the Bad Moms are in town. Can I stop saying moms and start saying mums? Because it's now their mums that are coming, because it's Christmas time, of course, time for family, and of course their moms are hell, just like in Daddy's Home 2. It really does show like a real dearth of ideas in Hollywood, and it's a shame because I like a lot of the cast in this Bad Moms.
Like, you know, if I can pay their mortgage for a bit, good on you. And I like the idea where they were like, oh, Christmas magical time, actually it's normally the mums that actually put in all the work. That is totally true, and it sucks that mums all over the world are expected, because of the patriarchy, because of gender roles, to do all the cooking, to do all the stuff for their kids. But here's the secret about male privilege, guys. It's awesome. I'm a 37-year-old man and my mum will make me a cup of tea. Fuck yeah. Keep those gender roles coming, baby. Give me that privilege.
There's really nowhere I can go with that.
Bad Man, starring Chris.
Daddy's Home 2, Bad Moms Christmas.
They can all fucking...
Across the board, I'm out.
Aye, burn them in a fire. That was a disappointing trailer talk.
Bum, bum, bum.
Alan, we got anything else?
Chris, anything to recommend to the audience?
I've seen quite a few films in the last couple of weeks. No, last week, in the last 4 fucking days. So I saw 3 films, 2 of which are in our sequel wheelhouse. The first one I saw was Justice League. It's fucking spectacularly average.
Yes.
Like, it's not as bad as Batman v Superman.
That is exactly as I expected. Yeah. I really did think it would just be competent.
There's some really nice performances in it. I mean, Affleck is fucking great.
I hope he sticks around long enough to get a good Batman
Older
movie.
Batman is a great thing to do. In this universe, he's been doing it for 20 years.
Yeah.
And it's only recently that the metahumans and superheroes have come in, and it's a really lovely idea that they've just kind of mishandled throughout the whole thing, but he's been great at it. And they really should lean into that. The kid that plays the Flash is great. Jason, Museum of Modern Art, is fucking great. The villain is just the way that the special effects, the way that they render the villain, makes it look like a kind of shitty video game. The problems are the same that all the other DC films. Try to do too much, but it's just average.
And watching it was apparent how much of kind of stitching together the vision of Snyder and Whedon.
No, so
could you see the seams?
There was obviously some really kind of jokey moments, which you're going to assume are probably Whedon. So you kind of assume they were reshot, but it's not like Suicide Squad where you could definitely see like the kind of edit points as such. The thing that's really weird is the CGI gub of Superman. You know it's Superman's cut, but everyone knows this, right?
Yeah.
So, and obviously we discussed in a previous episode that he was shooting Mission Impossible 6, is it?
Yeah.
While they needed to do reshoots for Justice League. And in Mission Impossible 6, he has a moustache or a beard or something.
He's got a moustache, yeah.
He can't take that off, so they had him come back, film all the Superman stuff, and then digitally redo his mouth. It looks freaky as fuck. Like, once you see it, you can't unsee it. Like, you were just fucking filming for the back, guys. It's alright, like, worth watching. touching in the sense of there are some moments where you can't help but go, fuck, it's Batman and Superman and Wonder Woman and the Flash, and that's quite cool. But I wouldn't rush out to see it.
Okay.
I'll tell you what, there's a really nice bit. There's a kind of idea floated that, again, you just go, there's so much good stuff in here. Bruce Wayne is talking about how Superman has had more of a human life than he has, and more human experience, because he grew up on a farm and was with family and people. Bruce Wayne had his family taken away and has been lived a rich, cosseted life, and that he finds that as the human, he feels more alien than the alien.
That's really nice.
Right?
Yeah.
Oh, there's so much stuff they could fucking do. But anyway, then today I saw Thor Ragnarok, baby. Great fun. Probably not quite as fun as you kind of want it to be, just because your hopes are so high.
I've heard a lot of people say that they really wish that the trailer had been different and they hadn't blown the Hulk gag in the trailer.
There's a few great moments in the trailer that you go, they shouldn't have put that in the trailer, because it would have been like a literal applause moment in the cinema. But it's great fun. I mean, it's just everyone's having a blast. I imagine that film has a less of a budget than Justice League, and yet the visuals look great. And whereas in the DC one, which probably had a bigger budget, everything looks murky and you can't really tell anything. Unsurprisingly, Justice League, alright. Thor Ragnarok, weirdly, my criticism would be I kind of wanted to hang out with some of the characters a bit more and see a bit more of the world, which shows you how kind of cool and groovy they were. It's great fun.
Nice.
Goth Kate Blanchett's great. But I should mention, now and again, we all mention films that aren't sequels if you think they're really worth seeing. The Death of Stalin. That is brilliant.
Great.
So you?
I have gone completely the other way. I have, like you, been watching loads of films recently, but they have all been very old and very weird.
Much like yourself.
I made my way through the Golden Globus Ninja trilogy, which was released on Blu-ray by Eureka, which is fun because Eureka normally put out really art house world movies, and they put out this ninja trilogy of really super 80s B-movie ninja films.
So it's American Ninja?
No, it's Enter the Ninja, Return of the Ninja, and Ninja 3 The Domination.
Ninja 3 The Domination?
Yeah.
I mean, that sounds great.
Starring Lucinda Dickey from Breakdance and Breakdance 2 Electric Boogaloo.
Holy shit, this is right up your fucking alley, isn't it?
It is great. The first one, Franco Nero is the ninja.
Oh, nice.
It's amazing.
That's lovely.
They're not really connected as a trilogy beyond the fact that they were all made by Golden Globus and all have Sho Koshigi in it.
And they're about ninjas.
Yeah, I had such fun watching those films. It's been a while since I've seen them. And the second thing I'd recommend is an episode of 99% Invisible, the podcast, which aired recently, and they talk to a graphic designer who works on movies and television, and they talk about hero props. It's about the graphic design process that goes into designing this stuff. Money, leaflets, billboards. Great episode. It really is interesting to listen to this design procedure to make these things. Great episode. Really loved it.
All right, cool. Thank you very much. Guys, as always, email us at diminishingpod@gmail.com. Get us on Twitter at diminishingpod. On Facebook, you can get us at Diminishing Returns Podcast. You can even send us a wee @message on there at Diminishing Returns Pod, or tag us on there, I believe is the nomenclature. On Instagram, you can get us at Diminishing Pod. We have our blog, diminishingpod.wordpress.com. YouTube, search for Diminishing Returns. We've got some episodes up now on YouTube of some old episodes, because that's the thing you're meant to do, supposedly. Who fucking knows or cares? Guys, as always, let your friends know. Subscribe and rate our podcast. It really does help. And please send a link to your friends to a specific podcast. Tell them to get the real deal. Diminishing Returns, the movie podcast about sequels, prequels, spin-offs and reboots. Al, what is our next franchise episode going to be about?
With the arrival of The Last Jedi in cinemas, we're going to take a look at The Force Awakens.
That's right. We're bringing out the big guns for Christmas, guys. We will see you then. Adios, muchachos.
Thanks, guys.
My name is Christine. I have a vagina. Perfect. Just exactly what women say all the time. Every time I meet a woman, it's like the second or third thing they say.
Yeah,
particularly if they're called Christine. I would lick your sugar tits, Alan.